Welcome back. So now we've kind of faked a user right here. Now I want to start actually getting the real user information from Firebase. Now I'm going to go into auth service and I'm going to make a get user function. Now we could start discussing if we need a user service for this. And I think it's a fair question. I think it's also a fair choice to actually go and create a user service for handling getting users. That makes sense. But for now, since it's kind of midway, because I'm going to use some authentication specific information combined with some user information. So for now I'm just going to put the get user inside the authentication part. But again, we could discuss actually making user service. I might do that later, kind of just to move this around. But again, that's the cool thing about the setup. It's not that hard to kind of move things later on if you want to. Now let's just have a look at how we get this. We're going to use FireAuth and we're going to use the auth state right here. Then we're going to, for now, just map this guy to kind of get the auth state just like we did above right here. And then we're getting back an auth state. Now, what is an auth state actually? We're going to start out by just having a look at that and figuring out what we need from the auth state, right? So that's what we're going to do right here. We're going to try and actually just return the auth state right here. That's all I'm going to do. Return auth state. And I'm going to try and return it as a user to kind of explain to the system that this auth state is actually going to be one of our users that we have built as a TypeScript file right here. So let's try and use this guy now in the component up here. So right below this user right here, I'm going to say this dot auth service get user, the function I just built, and I'm going to subscribe to that. Subscribe, and there I'm going to get a user back, I guess, and I'm just going to console log that user right here. Console log user. There we go. So that's all we pretty much had to do just to kind of get the service and just try and console log our new user right here. Let's try and see what we get from this. It seems we're getting this guy back, which is a lot more than what I need right now. So I'm getting a lot of information. All I actually want right now is just an email, and I want a UID, which is down here somewhere. That's pretty much all I want for now. We can get more in there later, but let's just get those two. And also, I want you guys to notice there is an email verified you can start working with later, a display name you can start working with, some kind of is anonymous, a phone number, a photo URL. So there's more data like I talked about earlier that you can actually work with. But let's just grab those two, the UID and the actual username, or sorry, email in my case right here. Let's go get those. So I'm jumping back to the auth state here, and I'm not satisfied with getting back the actual auth state as a user right here. I want to instead create a user. So we just do that for now just by adding a curly bracket right here and a curly bracket right here. Now that's created as something we can call a user now. We need an email. We're going to get that from the auth state. Let's just do auth state.email right here. Then we have the email. We need the UID. We're going to get that from the auth state. So let's just do auth state.uid right here. There we go. Now we have a more simplified object that we're getting back. Let's just try and have a look at how that looks. There we go. Now we have a simple email UID object right here. That looks a lot more like a user. Sweet. Now let's just go into the profile right here and actually get that user into our system instead of actually the old user that we just tried to play around with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of console logging the user, I'm actually just going to equalize him right here and say UI equal to the user I'm getting back, and then I'll remove this guy for now. I'm going to get an exception now. Now the problem is when this loads, I'm getting an exception that we cannot read username of undefined, but it's already there, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? Well, if you go into the HTML code, you actually have a small thing you're missing, and that's pretty much just explains to the system that until the user is actually loaded or something, then we need to just add a small ngF up here. Now we could use this for actually doing a small loading screen. We'll do that later, but right now it won't show the page now, or this layout won't be shown until the user is actually there. So that pretty much just means that now I won't get the undefined because this guy won't even show or work until I actually get a user available in my system. Sweet, let's have a look. So now it runs and I actually get the user from the authenticated user inside my auth service. That's kind of step one. Now I want to get more information later on from the database, but let's keep this for now. Now we're getting some information about the user from our Firebase auth system and using the auth state. So that's it for this lesson. See you next time. Have fun.